There was a time when buying a game meant you truly owned it. You could take the disc, insert it into your console, and start playing immediately. No extra steps, no hidden requirements. That physical copy was yours forever, regardless of whether the developer shut down or the publisher moved on. Today, modern gaming has transformed this simple experience into something far more complicated and fragile. Most physical copies are now little more than access keys. Instead of containing the full game, they require a massive online download from a developer's server. This means that if the server goes offline, whether due to corporate decisions, technical failures, or a studio going out of business, your game could become completely unplayable. Even single-player titles often require online verification, tethering your ability to play to a company's infrastructure rather than your own hardware. In the past, you could revisit a game from 10 years ago, pop in the disc, and pick up right where you left off. Now, revisiting an older game often feels like a gamble. Without the latest updates or the servers to support them, what you have is frequently an incomplete, buggy version that doesn't resemble the game you purchased. The promise of true ownership, being able to play your favorite titles decades later, is slipping away. The endless updates and installs, nightmare. Modern gaming has turned the simple act of starting a new game into a frustrating marathon. Instead of sliding in a disc and jumping straight into the action, players are often greeted by multi-hour installation processes and massive day-one patches. It's not uncommon for new games to require tens of gigabytes of updates before they're even playable, turning what should be an exciting moment into an endless wait. This problem is made worse by the sheer size of modern games. With many titles exceeding 100 gigabytes or more, hard drive space has become a precious commodity. Gamers are often forced to delete old favorites just to make room for the next bloated release, like performing digital triage. The situation only worsens when random updates drop at the worst possible times. Say, when you finally find an hour to play, only to wait through a mandatory patch for a celebrity skin you never asked for. And even when the game is installed, the cycle doesn't end. Months or years later, if you decide to revisit a game, you're back at square one with more patches, more updates, and more storage headaches. In some cases, if servers are no longer active, you can't even download the updates needed to make the game run properly. What should be an easy hobby now feels like managing a temperamental piece of enterprise software. The boardroom theory, profit over passion. Modern gaming is no longer driven purely by creative ambition. It's dictated by boardroom decisions and profit margins. As game development costs have skyrocketed, studios have shifted from taking creative risks to pursuing guaranteed revenue streams. Budgets for AAA titles now exceed hundreds of millions of dollars. And with so much money at stake, publishers prioritize financial safety over originality. In the past, publishers like Activision experimented with smaller, diverse projects. If one game became a hit, it paid for the rest. Today, that shotgun approach has been replaced by a sniper approach, where studios focus on just a few massive franchises that promise high returns. This business model has birthed endless sequels, remakes, and reboots, while new and risky IPs are often sidelined or watered down to fit popular trends like battle royales or live service models. To guarantee long-term revenue, games are often built around monetization rather than fun. Microtransactions, season passes, loot boxes, and cosmetic DLCs have become core elements of game design. Developers spend as much time figuring out how to keep players spending money as they do crafting innovative mechanics. Games like Assassin's Creed have evolved from tight, narrative-driven adventures into bloated open worlds with XP boosters and in-game shops designed to push players toward extra purchases. Passion projects have been replaced by revenue pipelines. Games launched broken and fixed later. The phrase "we'll patch it later" has become the unspoken motto of modern game development. In the rush to meet deadlines and appease investors, many games are released in a broken or unfinished state, relying on post-launch patches to bring them up to a playable standard. This practice leaves players who paid full price acting as unpaid beta testers. High-profile examples like Cyberpunk 2077 highlight just how bad this can get. Despite warnings from developers that the game needed more time, executives pushed for a holiday release to maximize profits. The result was a launch so disastrous that the game was temporarily removed from the PlayStation Store. While patches eventually improved the experience, the damage to player trust was already done. This release now, fix later mentality is dangerous because it prioritizes short-term financial gains over long-term quality. Players are left with buggy AI, missing features and performance issues, all while being charged premium prices. It creates the sense that the game you bought on day one is merely a rough draft of what it might become months or even years later, if the studio decides it's worth fixing it all. The entertainment shift theory. Video games are no longer just games. They're entertainment platforms designed for streaming, sharing, and virality. With the rise of Twitch, YouTube, and TikTok, developers are now creating experiences tailored as much for spectators as for players. A title that isn't streamable or clippable risks being overshadowed by games engineered to generate buzz. Fortnite is the poster child of this transformation. Its bright visuals, rapid updates, and surprise crossover events are all designed to create moments that trend online. Live events, like the Travis Scott virtual concert, blurred the lines between gaming and mainstream entertainment, attracting millions of players for what felt more like a music festival than a video game session. The downside is that games have become less personal. Local couch co-op modes have all but vanished, replaced by online play that prioritizes mass engagement and influencer-driven hype. Rather than focusing on rich, standalone experiences, many modern games chase viral moments to stay relevant in the short-lived attention economy. This shift has made some titles feel more like interactive commercials than immersive adventures. Short-form content and the TikTok effect. The rise of TikTok, YouTube Shorts, and other short-form platforms has reshaped how players consume and interact with games. These platforms reward quick, punchy moments of excitement, so games now aim to deliver instant gratification rather than slow, methodical pacing. Developers design experiences with highlight moments built in, anticipating that these clips will flood social media and drive interest. This trend is most visible in modes like Warzone's Rebirth Island, which throws players into a smaller, faster map with near-instant respawns. It's engineered for short, adrenaline-packed matches that align perfectly with today's scrolling habits. While this approach can be thrilling, it has diminished the value of slower-paced, story-driven experiences that require patience and immersion. Older single-player games thrived on mystery, exploration, and gradual payoff. In contrast, modern titles often sacrifice depth for speed, aiming to hook players in seconds. For gamers who enjoy taking their time, this shift can make modern games feel hollow, designed more for social media clips than for lasting, meaningful experiences. The player's paradox. The gaming audience today is larger and more diverse than ever, which has created a paradox of conflicting tastes and expectations. The average gamer is no longer a teenager in a bedroom. Statistics show that many players are now in their 30s or older, and nearly half are women. Mobile gaming, casual titles, and cross-platform experiences have expanded the player base, but this growth has also made it harder to satisfy everyone. Some players demand deep, story-driven single-player games, while others want fast-paced online multiplayer or live service experiences. This split means developers often chase trends to appeal to the widest possible audience, watering down the originality and focus that older titles had. The nostalgia factor adds to the tension. Veteran gamers expect every new release to recapture the magic of their childhood favorites, which sets impossible standards. The rise of competitive culture has only made things worse. Games like Fortnite have shifted from casual fun to intense, sweat-inducing arenas due to the influence of content creators and esports. Many players feel pressured to keep up with what's popular, even if it's not what they truly enjoy. As a result, gaming feels less like a personal hobby and more like a race to stay relevant. Polarized gaming discourse and manufactured controversy. The conversation around games has become louder, harsher, and more polarized than ever, driven by social media algorithms and content creators who profit from viral outrage. Every new release is instantly dissected by millions of voices across Twitter, Reddit, and YouTube, often before players have even experienced the game themselves. This flood of hot takes shapes public opinion in real time, creating echo chambers of either extreme praise or relentless criticism. A perfect example is The Last of Us Part 2. Instead of measured discussion, the game's narrative choices, particularly the inclusion of Abby as a playable character, ignited a firestorm of debate. Content creators capitalized on this controversy, producing video after video either defending or condemning the game. Genuine critique was drowned out by clickbait and exaggerated opinions designed to farm views. This climate makes it nearly impossible for players to approach a new game without preconceived notions. Instead of forming their own impressions, many gamers go in already influenced by viral clips. The result is a toxic cycle where the online discourse around a game can overshadow the experience of actually playing it. Nostalgia and impossible standards. Nostalgia is both a gift and a curse in modern gaming. Many players grew up with classics like Halo 3, GTA, San Andreas, or Call of Duty: Modern Warfare, and those formative experiences set an incredibly high bar. We often expect new releases to deliver the same feelings we had as kids, when gaming felt fresh, groundbreaking, and magical. But those memories are tied as much to who we were at the time as to the games themselves, making them nearly impossible to replicate. Franchises like Call of Duty or Halo face constant backlash, not necessarily because the games are objectively worse, but because they can't recapture the exact feel of their iconic predecessors. Players want innovation, but they also want that comforting familiarity. The result is a no-win situation where developers are criticized for either changing too much or playing it too safe. This nostalgia-driven lens skews our perception of modern titles. Even when a new game is well made, it's often compared unfavorably to the rose-tinted memories of older titles. For many gamers, it's less that modern games are objectively bad and more that our expectations, shaped by decades of personal history, are higher than ever. The decline of single-player and finished experiences. There was a time when a single-player game shipped as a complete self-contained adventure. You could finish the story, set it aside, and revisit it years later without needing extra downloads or updates. Today, the live service model has all but erased that sense of finality. Games are released with the intention of being endless, constantly updated with new seasons, expansions, and battle passes designed to keep players engaged indefinitely. While this approach can keep a game fresh, it also means many titles never feel truly complete. Players are stuck in an endless grind of time-limited events and content drops, pressured to log in regularly or risk falling behind. For those who miss the simplicity of a finished single-player experience, this model can feel exhausting and unrewarding. Even traditionally narrative-driven franchises, such as Assassin's Creed, have pivoted toward massive, open-world live service structures filled with side quests and monetized shortcuts. Instead of delivering a tightly crafted story from start to finish, these games now emphasize engagement metrics over creative closure. For many gamers, this shift has made modern gaming feel more like a job than a hobby. Proposed solutions from the critical gamer. To fix the downward spiral of modern gaming, several practical solutions have been suggested. Ideas that prioritize quality, preservation, and player rights over relentless monetization. These include 1. Shipping games in playable condition. Every game should be fully functional and playable from start to finish without requiring a single patch. While minor bugs are understandable, launching broken games has become unacceptable. Developers who repeatedly release unfinished products could face fines or even lose publishing licenses, forcing companies to prioritize quality over speed. 2. A third-party archive for patches and updates. When studios shut down servers or abandon older titles, all patches and essential files should be preserved in an independent repository accessible to players with legitimate copies. This would ensure that games remain playable for years to come even after official support ends. 3rd, an end to always online requirements. Single-player games should never require a constant internet connection to function. Players deserve the freedom to enjoy their purchases offline. without worrying about server failures or corporate shutdowns turning their games into digital paperweights. These changes might sound ambitious, but they could restore trust between players and developers. Without reforms like these, modern gaming risks collapsing under its own greed, bloat, and short-term thinking.